Did Canelo really win that fight against Munguia, or has boxing once again fallen prey to a judging controversy? This is the question that has been echoing throughout the boxing community following the recent super middleweight bout between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia. This was not just any fight, it was a clash of titans, a testament to the raw power and finesse of two seasoned pugilists. Canelo, with a record of 61 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws, and Munguia, boasting 43 wins and a single loss, went toe-to-toe in a match that was bound to be remembered. The dust has settled, but the controversy is still very much alive. Canelo walked away as the victor, courtesy of a unanimous decision. But was it really unanimous? That's where the plot thickens. Fernando Barbosa, ESPN's international judge, scored the fight 116-111 in favor of Canelo. On the other hand, the official judges had a different viewpoint, with varying scorecards that have sparked a wave of debates and discussions. Boxing, like any other sport, isn't immune to controversies. Judging a boxing match isn't a walk in the park, it's a nuanced process that demands a keen eye and an understanding of the sport that goes beyond the ordinary. But when the scorecards don't match up, it's bound to raise eyebrows and lead to questions about the integrity of the verdict. In this case, the divergence between Barbosa's scorecard and the official scorecards has left fans, pundits, and enthusiasts scratching their heads. Was it a fair fight? Did the best man win? Or was there something more at play, something that goes beyond the realm of punches and knockouts? So was it a clear victory or a blatant robbery? Let's dive deep into the world of boxing scoring. Scoring a boxing match isn't as straightforward as tallying up punches, there's an art to it. This statement holds more truth than you might think. It's not just about who lands more punches or who has the most powerful hits. Judges have to consider a myriad of factors when deciding who wins a round and ultimately the match. Firstly, there's the concept of effective aggression. This isn't about who's the most aggressive in the ring, but rather who uses their aggression effectively. A boxer could throw 100 punches, but if only a handful of them land while the opponent lands accurately with fewer punches, the latter is deemed the effective aggressor. It's not about quantity, but quality. Then we have ring generalship. This refers to the control of the match. Who's dictating the pace? Who's forcing the other to adjust their style? The boxer who demonstrates superior strategy, who can manipulate the fight to their advantage, is demonstrating good ring generalship. Next up is clean punching. This is perhaps the most straightforward of the criteria. Judges look for punches that land cleanly and with impact. They're not interested in glancing blows or shots that are blocked or deflected. Clean punching means hitting the target area with the knuckle part of the glove. Lastly, there's defense. This is often the most overlooked aspect of boxing, especially by casual viewers. A good defense is just as important as a good offense. The ability to avoid or block punches, to move around the ring and create angles, these are all key elements of a strong defense. Now, these are the 4 main criteria, but how they're weighted can vary from judge to judge. Some might place more emphasis on clean punching, while others might value effective aggression more. This subjectivity can sometimes lead to discrepancies in the final scorecards. Moreover, there's always the potential for bias. Judges are human after all. They could be swayed by a boxer's reputation, by the crowd's reaction, or even by their personal preferences. There's also the issue of error. In the heat of a match, it's easy to miss a punch or misjudge its effectiveness. This is why it's so important for boxing to have competent, impartial judges. Their decisions can greatly impact a boxer's career. They can decide who gets a title shot, who gets a hefty paycheck, and who gets their hand raised at the end of the night. In the case of Canelo versus Munguia, ESPN's international judge, Fernando Barbosa, scored the fight 116-111 in favor of Canelo, while the official judges had varying scorecards. Such discrepancies are not uncommon in the world of boxing, and they often lead to debates among fans and pundits alike. As you can see, scoring isn't black and white, and this gray area often leads to controversies. It's a delicate balance of judgment and perception, and it's what makes the sport of boxing so intriguing, so unpredictable, and so engrossing. In an ideal world, every boxing match would be judged objectively, but we don't live in an ideal world, do we? We're here today, ladies and gentlemen, to delve into the challenge of objective judging in boxing. The sport of boxing, like any other, thrives on fairness and impartiality. However, ensuring objective judging is not as straightforward as it may seem. Various factors come into play, clouding the crystal-clear lens of objectivity. Let's start with the potential for bias. Bias in judging can be both unconscious and intentional. Unconscious bias is often a product of human nature. A judge may favor a boxer because of his style, his reputation, or even his country of origin. It's not deliberate, but it's there, subtly influencing the way a fight is scored. Intentional bias, on the other hand, is a much darker aspect of the sport. It's the elephant in the room that no one wants to acknowledge. Cases of corruption, bribery, or favoritism have occasionally tarnished the image of boxing. But let's not forget these are exceptions, not the rule. Most judges are dedicated professionals who take their responsibilities seriously. Another challenge in ensuring objective judging is the subjective nature of boxing itself. Unlike most sports, there are no clear-cut points in boxing. It's not about hitting a ball into a net or crossing a finish line first. It's about power, precision, defense, aggression, and ring generalship. It's about interpreting these elements in real time and scoring rounds accordingly. It's more of an art than a science, and like any art, it's open to interpretation. Moreover, the scoring system itself can be a hurdle towards objective judging. The 10-point must system, used in most boxing jurisdictions, awards the winner of around 10 points, and the loser 9 or less. This system can often lead to controversial decisions, especially in closely contested rounds. It's not uncommon for two judges to see the same round differently, leading to split decisions that leave fans and boxers alike scratching their heads. The impact of these challenges on the outcome of a fight can be significant. A biased or misinterpreted decision can rob a deserving boxer of his victory and alter the course of his career. It can lead to public outrage, with fans questioning the integrity of the sport they love. But let's not lose hope, folks. The world of boxing is aware of these issues, and steps are being taken to address them. New technologies are being explored, like real-time scoring systems and virtual reality training for judges. The goal is to minimize human error and bias, and to make the sport as fair as possible. The role of a judge carries immense responsibility, and with it, the potential for controversy. They are the guardians of the sport's integrity, and while the path to objective judging is fraught with challenges, it's a journey that must be undertaken for the love of the sport. After all, at the heart of every boxing match is the quest for truth. The truth of who was the better man in the ring, and it's the judges who have the weighty task of determining that truth. So, what exactly went down in the Canelo versus Munguia fight? Why the disparity in the scoring? Let's delve into that, shall we? Fernando Barbosa, ESPN's international judge, and the official judges at ringside watched the same fight. They observed the same punches, the same footwork, the same defensive maneuvers, yet their scorecards told different stories. Barbosa saw a more dominant performance from Canelo, scoring the fight 116 to 111 in his favor. He viewed Canelo as the clear winner, landing the more effective punches and controlling the pace of the fight. In Barbosa's eyes, Canelo demonstrated superior boxing skills, effectively using his jab to keep Munguia at bay and landing devastating body shots that slowly wore down his opponent. On the other hand, the official judges had varying scorecards, some even suggesting a much closer fight than what Barbosa had seen. They observed moments of brilliance from Munguia, his youthful energy and determination making up for any technical deficiencies. They saw a fighter who refused to back down, pressuring Canelo throughout the bout and landing his own share of significant punches. But why such disparity in the scoring? Well, boxing, like any other sport, is subjective. Scoring a boxing match is not an exact science. It's an art, influenced by a multitude of factors, including the judge's perspective, experience, and even personal bias. A judge sitting on one side of the ring might see a punch land cleanly, while a judge on the opposite side might view it as a glancing blow. A judge with a preference for aggressive fighters might favor Munguia's relentless forward motion, while a judge who appreciates technical skills might be more impressed by Canelo's defensive maneuvers and precise counterpunching. Furthermore, the atmosphere surrounding a bout can also influence a judge's scoring. The roar of the crowd, the reputation of the fighters, the momentum of the fight. All these can subtly sway a judge's perception of who's winning. It's possible that the official judges were influenced by Munguia's tenacity and the crowd's reaction to his aggressive style, thus scoring the fight closer than Barbosa did. Another point to consider is the pressure on the judges. Boxing is a high-stakes sport, and the judges' decisions can greatly affect a fighter's career. The responsibility to make the right call can weigh heavily on them, possibly leading to conservative or overly cautious scoring. In the end, what we have is a subjective interpretation of a highly competitive event. Each judge saw the fight through their own lens, influenced by their own biases and perspectives. It's a reminder that, in boxing, the truth is often in the eye of the beholder. With such differences in scoring, it's no wonder fans are questioning the outcome. Yet it's these controversies that keep the conversations going, that keep us engaged, and keep the sport of boxing alive and kicking. So was the fight's outcome fair, or was it a robbery? Here's my take. Let's dive right into it, shall we? The match between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia was nothing short of breathtaking. Two fighters at the top of their game, trading blows, each determined to walk out of that ring victorious. But alas, as in every fight, one emerged the victor, and the other, well, not so much. Now, if we're talking about the scorecards, there was a noticeable discrepancy. Fernando Barbosa, an international judge with ESPN, scored the fight 116, 111 in favor of Canelo. The official judges, on the other hand, had varying scorecards. When you look at the numbers, you might start to question the fairness of it all. However, boxing isn't just about numbers, it's about skill, strategy, and heart. Let's take a moment to consider the fighters themselves. Canelo, with a record now standing at February 2nd, 61 and 39 KOs, is no stranger to the ring. He's proven time and again that he's a force to be reckoned with. On the other side, we have Munguia, with a record of 43, 1 and 34 KOs. He's a powerhouse in his own right. With such high stakes and equally matched fighters, it's not surprising that the result was controversial. But here's my take. I don't believe it was a robbery. Rather, it was a reflection of a fight that could have gone either way. Boxing is subjective. What one person sees as a winning blow, another might see as a miss. It's not just about landing punches. It's about how you control the ring, how you defend, and how you strategize. I believe that Canelo's victory was a result of his ability to do all of these things effectively. Now, I'm not saying that Munguia didn't put up a good fight. He did. He gave Canelo a run for his money. And on any other night, he might have walked out of that ring victorious. But in this particular match, Canelo showed a level of expertise and finesse that tipped the scales in his favor. However, it's important to remember that this is just one man's opinion. Boxing, like all sports, is a realm of heated debates and differing viewpoints. There will always be disagreements, and that's part of what makes it so thrilling. In the end, the beauty of boxing lies in its unpredictability and the ongoing debates it sparks. It's clear that the world of boxing is rife with controversies, and the recent Canelo versus Munguia fight is no exception. We've journeyed together through the twists and turns of this boxing saga. We've delved into the art of scoring a boxing match, we've grappled with the challenge of objective judging, and we've taken a closer look at this contentious fight. Scoring a boxing match isn't as simple as tallying up punches. It's a complex process that takes into account various factors such as clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense. And it's this complexity that can sometimes lead to diverging scorecards. We've seen this complexity play out in the Canelo versus Munguia fight. ESPN's international judge, Fernando Barbosa, scored the fight 116 to 111 in favor of Canelo. Yet the official judges had varying scorecards. This divergence can lead to questions and controversies, especially when the stakes are as high as they were in this match. The challenge of objective judging is another factor that adds fuel to the fire of boxing controversies. Judges are human, after all, and humans are prone to bias and error. Despite the best efforts to remain impartial, judges can be swayed by factors such as crowd noise, personal preferences, or even the reputation of the boxers. In the Canelo versus Munguia fight, some might argue that Canelo's reputation as a boxing titan could have influenced the judging. However, we must remember that these are merely speculations. Without concrete evidence, it's difficult to definitively say whether bias played a role in the scoring. We've also taken a closer look at the fight itself. Each round was a testament to the skill and determination of both boxers. Canelo and Munguia gave it their all in the ring. And regardless of the scorecards, their performance was a spectacle to behold. In conclusion, boxing is a sport filled with drama and intensity. It's a world where every punch counts, where every round can tip the scales, and where controversies are almost as common as knockouts. The Canelo versus Munguia fight is a prime example of this. Whether you agree with the outcome or not, one thing's for sure: boxing continues to captivate us with its drama and intensity. So, that's my take on the Canelo versus Munguia fight. But what about you? Now it's your turn to step into the ring. We've dived deep into the scorecards, dissected the punches, and brought the controversy into the spotlight. But boxing is nothing without its passionate community, its fiery debates, and its shared love for the sweet science. We invite you to weigh in. What's your take on the fight? Do you think Canelo deserved the win, or was Munguia robbed? Share your thoughts, your arguments, your perspectives. Let's keep this conversation alive and thriving. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, if you appreciate this kind of analysis, then join our community. Subscribe to the channel for more insights, more debates, more boxing. Together we can celebrate this sport in all its complexity, all its controversy, all its glory. Remember, the beauty of boxing lies in its debates, so keep the conversation going and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.